This video was created by Danny Kessler, Associate Professor and Korea's first PhD in Wellness Tourism. Most global destinations operate on a shared assumption. Capturing wellness capital inherently requires a costly maritime coastline. That assumption ignores a severe physical tax placed on the traveler, transit exhaustion. The physical toll of reaching remote oceanfront locations actively depletes the body, draining the physiological benefits before the wellness intervention even begins. We must decouple the concept of clinical wellness from the ocean entirely. South Korea's 𝗏𝗏 province is pioneering a new landlocked wellness model to solve this exact problem. Maritime coastlines are not a prerequisite for physical restoration. They are a costly, outdated dependency the industry must outgrow. 𝗏𝗏 operates under strict geographical constraints as a completely landlocked province, substituting beachfronts with deep mountain valleys and expansive inland lake systems. This specific topographical asset substitution forms the foundation of the inland blue ecosystem. The true engine of this ecosystem is hidden beneath the surface, relying on complex subterranean thermal networks. These underground networks offer absolute geological stability, standing in sharp contrast to unpredictable, weather-dependent coastal environments. 𝗏𝗏 weaponized its geographical limitations, engineering them into a structurally superior foundation for wellness architecture. To understand why this works, we must shift our focus from the region's macrogeography to the precise microphysiological interventions occurring inside the facilities. The first phase relies on a precise physical reset, using 17 degrees Celsius carbonated sparkling hydrotherapy springs. Maintaining these springs at exactly 17 degrees provides a sharp thermal contrast that forces the central nervous system to react immediately. Carbonated gas saturation interacts with a cross-section of human skin tissue. As the consumer enters the water, millions of tiny carbon bubbles gather directly on the skin. This localized saturation triggers a chemical response, forcibly widening the underlying blood vessels in a process known as rapid vasodilation. The result is a massive rush of highly oxygenated blood, pushing through depleted muscle tissue. Traditional hot spring soaking remains a passive experience. This carbonated model initiates a targeted active response from the circulatory system through gas saturation. The carbonated thermal asset functions as a precise medical intervention, systematically forcing the body to reset its physical baseline. Once extreme vasodilation is achieved, the body immediately goes to work on its internal waste systems. This bar chart demonstrates the steep drop in lactic acid levels within muscle groups during hydrotherapy. As lactic acid plummets, physiological recovery metrics show an inverse rise, eliminating the physical markers of transit exhaustion. All of this occurs within a carefully constructed physical environment, an ancient Roman Ottoman hybrid stone pavilion. This heavy, volumetric architectural space physically frames and contains the clinical reset, isolating the consumer from external stimuli. Clearing lactic acid is only the physical prerequisite. The body's biological baseline still requires systematic stabilization. To permanently lock in those physical gains, the model relies on a necessary second engine. This stabilization tool leverages traditional Hanbong medicine protocols. These protocols require pulling the consumer out of the thermal water and anchoring them deep within mountain forestry meditation zones. The ultimate biological target of combining this specific space with traditional medicine is the direct repair of the autonomic nervous system. It systematically forces the nervous system to step down from a state of chronic stress and fight-or-flight processing. Scientifically, we measure this shift as moving the body out of sympathetic dominance and securing it safely into parasympathetic dominance. This dual-engine sequence creates a measurable shift in recovery metrics, moving the destination from a site of leisure toward one of clinical necessity. Zooming out from the biological interior of the user, we can measure how this physiological success maps onto the macroeconomic stability of the destination. Coastal wellness infrastructure inherently suffers from severe seasonal limitations and high weather dependency. This radar chart compares 12-month operational viability of inland thermal assets against sharp coastal seasonal peaks. Inland blue's subterranean topography provides year-round consistency. As data smooths over an annual cycle, this translates directly into predictable, self-sustaining capital capture. Eliminating environmental unpredictability removes the primary risk factor for large-scale wellness tourism investors. In the modern wellness industry, spatial resilience engineers economic resilience. This landlocked model is formalized and protected by a specific institutional catalyst. The operational framework of the National Healing Tourism Industry Act legally defines how these ecosystems are built and funded. This legislative act actively incentivizes regional economies to abandon coastal dependence and instead target their unique inland topography. Clinical-grade wellness ecosystems can be deployed anywhere natural topography is correctly matched with targeted medical tradition. The 𝗏𝗡 design path proves that we can convert isolated natural environments into highly resilient, globally competitive regional economies. This video was created by Danny Kessler, Associate Professor and Korea's first PhD in Wellness Tourism.